Hi everybody, Jenny with Resolve Physical Therapy here, and today I'm going to go over what a video gait analysis for a runner actually means. So we have our runner up here on the screen. Right now we're looking at the back view. Typically we look at the back view, side view, and sometimes even a front view of a runner to get a better idea of their overall mechanics. And it really starts from head to toe. So first, when we look at this runner, what we're looking at is if she bounces too much, is if she has too much vertical displacement, and this runner looks just fine. Secondly, we look down at her arms. So if we pause here, what we're looking for is a few different things. First one being is if a runner holds their arms out too wide, then to us that's a sign that the runner has some kind of core weakness going on. We also look to see if the runner crosses over too much with her arms, or if they move the arms too far forward or too far back. So if we look at this runner, you can see that she brings her right arm really far back behind her, which causes a twist in the lower back. And she might not have pain there right now, but if she runs many, many miles and twists that back over and over and over again, she might end up with an injury there. Now, to me, this runner also holds her arms out a little bit too wide, showing that we could probably work on some core strength or core stability. Now, because of that arm displacement going too far forward or too far back, she also does have too much crossing of her arms in front of her. She needs to keep those arms going more straight forward and straight back. Next, we move down to the hips, and what we like to look at is when you're standing on one leg, what happens to the opposite hip. What we hope to see is that your hips stay level, like it does on this side. Standing on this hip, you can tell by looking at her shirt line that it's very level. She has good glute strength on that side. Now, we always want to compare to the other side and hope that there's symmetry. Now we're on her right leg. Now again, if you look at her shirt line, you can tell this time that her shirt is not level, but in fact drops down. So what this signifies is that she has a little bit of glute weakness on that right side, or some glute inhibition, or she could possibly even be trying to avoid pain. Next, we can go down to the foot and ankle, where most people have heard of supination or pronation. Especially overpronating is a hot topic when it comes to runners and what types of shoes to wear and those types of things. So first we'll start on her left leg, and you will notice that she does have a little bit of extra pronation. So that's where that ankle breaks in and your heel turns out. If we compare it to the right side, she doesn't have as much pronation, but what she does have on this side that we like to look at is foot internal and external rotation. So when we're looking at the back view of a runner, we like to look at their foot and we try to imagine how many toes we could see on one side sticking out versus the other. So if we're on the left, if we imagine she was barefoot, we could probably see 1 to 2 toes over there. Now if we go over to the right side and stop, she turns that one out a bit more and has to where you can see probably 3 going on almost 4 toes on that side. So she's making up for some kind of instability, weakness, or avoiding pain somewhere that's causing her to have those mechanics. We also like to look to see how the person carries their foot through the swing phase of a gait. So an easy way for somebody to look at it is to look at the bottom of the shoe and see if it's turned out or if she carries it straight through, and then compare left to right. So she turns both of them out. Pretty equally. So then we move on to the side view. And what we like to look at the side view is, again, you can see a view of the arms and how far back they bring their arms or how far forward they bring their arms. So here you can see a lot of space back through here on that right side, meaning she's getting that right arm especially way too far behind her compared to the left and just in general. Left side goes back a little bit far as well. The next thing we like to look at is her overall posture. When people lean too far back, we call it backseat running. When they are too upright, you're not using as much momentum as you should be, so you're not as efficient. So what we like to see is a little bit of a forward lean when somebody's running. You're gonna be much more efficient that way. So I would say this runner is a little bit too upright, could lean forward just a little bit more. Next, what we'll look at, another hot topic, is if you're a heel striker, midfoot striker, those types of things. For me, my opinion is that it's okay to be a heel striker as long as when you land, you're coming underneath your center of mass, your core. So if we look at her, she's more of a midfoot runner, which also probably means that she has a really good cadence, a good stride length, and she's going to be getting much less ground reaction forces coming up, less likely to be injured in this case. Secondly, we like to look at the knee flexion back behind her. There's not a magic number for this one, but again, what we hope for is symmetry between the right and left legs. So she's about 90 degrees on the right and about 90 degrees on the left. So she's equal there, and that's a good thing. Last thing we look at is push off. So here, we like to see that they're pushing off from that big toe, and again, if it's equal to the other side. So she looks like she gets off her right side a little bit quicker to me, and then starts to turn that right foot out a little bit earlier than the left side. So again, probably something that can be related to pain or weakness. So we like to match all these things up when we do an evaluation with a patient on the table, where we look at range of motion, where we look at each muscle's individual strength, and then big picture functional exercises such as squats, where we can look at overall motion, strength, stability, and try to give you a plan from there. Now, instead of telling this person how to run, typically we can give her the correct exercises to use, and that'll automatically fix many of the abnormal mechanics. We'll teach people about cadence. That would also automatically fix a lot of abnormal mechanics. And then we will give her a few things to try to think about when she's running, as far as keeping her arms in and things like that. So hopefully that was helpful to try to understand a little bit more what a video gait analysis entails. And if you need one, please feel free to call us. We'd be happy to help. Thanks.